There are some very clever people in this world. So much knowledge gets passed around for free, and when I come across useful guides and resources, I think that it's only fair that I share them with others. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Reese, and in today's video, I'm going to be showing you a guide that I came across on a subreddit called Oz Finance about what to do with your money. I myself follow a very similar path when it comes to my finances as the one laid out in the flowchart that I'm going to take you through today. So, just as an example, it's a real-world application that is used by people, including myself, that is extremely useful, that has allowed me to save money, reduce financial stress, and learn more about things that are important when it comes to finance. The flowchart or diagram is called I have X amount of dollars, what should I do? The flowchart aims to assist you or give an understanding of how to allocate money, save, pay down debt, invest, and not only those key topics, but also gives a brief guide on what to invest in. The flowchart breaks down a bunch of scenarios to kind of give you a grasp on your financial situation and where you're kind of heading, and then also kind of gives you some direction in what you should be doing with your money. So I'm going to literally take you through it step by step right now. Let's get into it. The chart is broken up into 7 overarching fundamental steps to getting your finances under control. Step 0 is budget, reduce expenses, and set realistic goals. Step 1 is to build an emergency fund. Step 2 is to consider employer contribution matching and government super incentives. Step 3 is to pay down debt. Step 4 is to save for big purchases. Step 5 is to increase your super contributions. And step 6 is to save for other goals and investments. From here, the actual path begins. As we go through, if something is not applicable, you move on to the next step and cross out the step which isn't applicable. This will result in you having a personal flowchart to follow based on your lifestyle, expenses, and future goals. So starting with these blue boxes here, which fall into the step 0 category, what you're going to find is that most of these aren't within your control. They are automated for you to be able to function every single day. Starting with create a budget. That's the first recommendation made in this chart. Absolutely the best thing you can do. Understanding where your money goes is super important and super useful. From here, this will sift into things like paying your rent and mortgage, generally the things that allow you to have a roof over your head, buying food and groceries, the things that allow you to survive, paying essential items, things like power, water, heat, and toiletries, all the things that allow you to live clean, hygienic, and be comfortable in your own home. From there, you will obviously pay income earning expenses, so anything that contributes to you being able to get to and from your job to make money, such as your phone, internet, your car, if you have to drive to and from, things like public transport, anything like that. Taxes definitely come out of your pay usually. If you're working for an employer, they should withhold that for you. If you're a self-made entrepreneur making money on the side, you will need to hold money aside for tax, so that definitely should get factored into your budget if you fall into that category. And then finally, make minimum repayments, not extra repayments. We're not talking about paying down big debts yet. We're talking about making the minimum repayments on any debts and loans. So things like your student loans, credit cards, personal loans, car loans, anything that is a mandatory loan that you've taken out that you need to pay off over time. Make sure that those minimums are being met so you don't get charged with any extra fees. This is where it actually begins. So now they say, first things first, build a small emergency fund. And I absolutely agree with this. Build up at least 1 to 2 months worth of savings to make sure that you can survive for a short period of time should something bad happen that would stop your income for whatever reason, like a global pandemic as an example. From here, you want to pay any non-essential bills in full. So this is something I do, and I've made a video on this as well. This is where I would highly recommend paying for a service such I pay for my gym membership. That's one good example. I pay for the full year upfront so that it's not being taken out of my budget every single week. That one-off payment is easy to save up over time, and if I'm only paying it off once per year, then I can rearrange my money to work more effectively for me. From here, if you're an employee, you want to question if they match super contributions. So at my old job, they would match every dollar I put into my super each year up to $2,000. And this is where, if it was yes, maximize the benefit offered by your employer. If you have extra money, you're going to fall into this category. You're going to have a bit more money to basically make because they're going to give you free money. At my new job, the answer is no, so I'm coming straight across here because they do not match it. That box, cross out. From here, do you have any high interest debt? So we're coming between these two here. You are making the minimum repayments, you've built your buffer, you're maxing your super contributions. Now what you want to do is, if yes, you're going to snowball and avalanche. You're going to smash that loan down as fast as possible. I think every financial guru on the internet says smash high interest loans, personal loans, car loans, anything that isn't your home loan that has an interest rate. This says 10% higher. I would say 6% at the moment with the current state of the world. Anything that's 6% or higher, smash that down. I myself don't have any of these, and obviously once you do pay off this debt, you will come to the no section, and this is where you want to increase your emergency fund up to 4 months living expenses. Now this is subjective. 4 months is just a guide given by them. I would say 6 months is a better option because 6 months realistically should give you enough time to get back on your feet, worst case scenario. So this is where you would then increase and put any extra money into building an emergency fund, which I myself again have done and am thankful that I have, because I worry less about money every day because this keeps building up over time. It's only a small portion of my wage now that I put into it. It's not big chunks anymore. And I've never felt safer with that money being there. From here, you've paid down your high interest debt. These here kind of are intertwined. Now, these two are also intertwined. So this is saying moderate interest debt, anything over 4 to 5% interest rate, excluding your mortgage again. Now, I would still say anything above 1% is a moderate interest debt. Same thing again. Come back up here, evaluate the merits of the avalanche or snowball method and smash that loan down. Once you remove that loan entirely except for your mortgage, so this might be something like that you borrow some money from your family and they're just charging a small amount of interest. That's where this might fall into that category. Smash that loan down, don't owe them anything. That's always your best bet. So the answer is no for me. Don't have anything like this at the moment. Therefore, they say maximize your super out of your pre-tax money, salary sacrifice, and drop your income now for a better future. That's the first half. Now we're going to scroll down. Scrolling down to the bottom half of the page now, I'm coming out of this box here, which was the salary sacrifice box, and we're going to move on to the more lighthearted questions. If you're in this section, you're doing pretty well. If you're in this section, I would be pretty comfortable knowing that you have built up an emergency fund and you have no debt or even very little debt, and you have looked at all your options of contributing to your superannuation fund. So I myself, I'm going to say this, I fall roughly into this category here where I'm about to go through these two boxes. This is where I'm currently at. Once we get down to this line, this is a little bit more financial free to me, which is hopefully where I can get to in my near future. Do you own and live a residential property with a mortgage on it? I don't live in a residential property, but I do own a home. So this question technically applies, and it's, should I be making extra contributions to pay down that loan and basically just working to smash it down? The answer is yes, if it's a property that is your owner-occupied home. As an investment, there are reasons as to why you wouldn't. So in my instance, I'm not making extra repayments at the moment because I have big, large expenses that are up and coming in the near future, such as I'm planning to buy a house with my partner, which will definitely put me back into this category once I do that. From here, if you are looking to take some time off work, buy a car, study further, buy another house, whatever it is where you would save up for that. If it's yes, here it is, save the amount needed, separate to your emergency fund. You don't touch your emergency fund. This is your money that you build up for safety. This money here for this purchase is completely specific to that purchase. My actual partner right now is saving for a car. She saved $15,000 this year just for that one purpose and hasn't touched her emergency fund or her big savings. Pretty impressive. Purposing your money for a very specific purchase is a really good thing to do. 100% get into the habit of doing it. So like I said, this is where it gets a little bit more comfortable. Are you currently saving at least 15% of your pre-tax income for your retirement, including super? So this is, are you putting money away because you don't know what to do with your money? If you're in this situation, excellent. You're laughing. If the answer is no, then try and find a way to bring that amount of savings up for your future to 15% if all of these boxes are satisfied. Keep that in mind. It's a flow-on effect, meaning if you haven't done what's in the previous box, you need to do that first before moving on to this step. If the answer is yes, look, you're free. You're in a really good position and you're basically laughing. The only questions you then need to ask yourself is, how soon do you want to retire and how much do you need? Work it out.
start saving for it. Or the other end of this is, do you have any immediate goals that you are wanting to achieve that you literally might need to save between 3 and 10 years for? If the answer is yes, which I kind of fall into this category because I want to buy this house with my partner, so I'm going to have to work hard and save to be able to maximize or get to that goal, get to achieving that goal sooner. And that is pretty much it. This is an extremely useful flowchart, something that I definitely follow myself in my own way. I have very specific things I do for each of these boxes, and I do some of them in a little bit of a different order. However, it's a very useful guide, something that should be extremely easy to follow from start to finish. And this is a time-based thing. This isn't going to be done in 1 week. This is going to be a couple of years worth of work, but you will quickly see yourself smashing out these boxes and getting yourself all the way down to the end here, because the ultimate goal is to be in this purple box, to have the freedom of not having to worry about anything above here. This is where you live the most comfortable life, and it is achievable.
This guide is very basic, but an extremely useful tool to give you some perspective on how you should be allocating your money. This, in my opinion, shows you an easy path that you can follow and be consistent with, and in the long run is going to put you in a better financial position. I have left a link in the description below to both the flowchart and the website itself. On the website where the article was written, you'll be able to find more information about each section of the flowchart, so check that out for sure if you're interested. On top of that, I have also linked videos that I have made on the topics that are present within that flowchart. Not by coincidence, but because that's what this channel is all about. So also check them out if you're interested too. Overall, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope that it was insightful. Good luck on your financial journey, and I hope that this flowchart was useful. If you enjoyed, please consider liking and subscribing, and as always, I will see you in the next one.